Government officials are busy working out a very tricky formula these days. Just how much is a wife and a mother's work at home worth? Do you pay her the same as you do your housekeeper, or do you pay her what she would have earned as a career woman? NDTV's Iyengar has this special report on how the stay-at-homes are reacting to the government's new plan.
She's up at the crack of dawn, even before anyone else stirs, and the last to go to bed. Every day, Sharda Pagrud does everything at home, from cooking, cleaning, getting her children ready for school, to working in the field and even feeding the cattle the family owns. That's easily over 16 hours of home-related work, but she's left out of the economic grid that puts a value to what she does.
काम का मोल हमको कुछ मिलना चाहिए, हमारी ऐसी गुजारिश है सरकार की.
In fact, that's exactly what the government is thinking about. The Ministry of Women and Child Development is currently mulling over how women who are homemakers can be given a part of the husband's salary. It's not a law or a bill. It's still an idea that is to take shape.
कि हम चाहते हैं कि वो ये कहे मैं हाउस इंजीनियर हूँ और घर को संभालती हूँ. अगर हम ये काम काउंट करें तो हमारी इकोनॉमी भी, उसकी ग्रोथ अगर देखते हैं तो वो भी बढ़ सकती है. दूसरी तरफ हम इकोनॉमिकली उसको एम्पावर करने की बात कर रहे हैं. सबके व्यूज लेने के बाद इसका आगे कोई प्रारूप तैयार होगा.
It's still not clear how this monetary component will be calculated. And as the contours of how this will shape up are still hazy, it's already raising some questions, including from homemakers like Pooja, who it seeks to benefit.
It sounds very absurd. I mean, it sounds as if we are trying to make a family look like, business. So there's no business in a family setting.
Pooja gave up a comfortable corporate job to take care of her 2 young children. A decision, she says, she took out of choice.
There are, archaic divorce laws which, if they are amended, they can empower women, they can bring in gender equality. If you really want to empower women, the best way to do it is give them opportunities to get back into the workforce.
How does one begin to quantify or put a value to everything a mother or wife does? Does cooking for a special day mean extra value, or tending to a child's broken heart or bruise come with a price tag? And what if the husband contributes to the chores in a week? Does that mean there will be a deduction in what she should get? And it's not just us who are asking these questions.
कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि कपल्स में जो वाइफ है वो हस्बैंड से ज्यादा अर्न करती है, उस वक्त क्या होगा?
The idea has already set the debate in motion. Just as there are those who feel women need to be empowered financially and monetary benefits could help the cause, others feel it's not the government's business to get into the personal space within the 4 walls of a household. With Dhananjay Sabre in Akola, in New Delhi, Iyengar for NDTV.
Let me just introduce you to all our guests this evening. We have Chandra Iyengar. She's a former Maharashtra Home Secretary and also the author of the policy for women of Maharashtra that was path-breaking at its time. Karuna Nundy, feminist lawyer, joins us here in studio. Aarti Surendranath, who is a film producer and is also staying at home these days to look after and bring up her children. Also, Atit, Rajpara of the Men's Rights Association will be joining us from Pune. But if I can start with you, Ms. Iyengar, many people are saying this whole thing, while it may have good intentions, it's a bit crude. It's like payment for sex to your wife. Some people have said that. Do you think that's unfair?
Yes, of course. I really don't understand why when we talk about money or power or ambition and women, we start getting cute and coy. I mean, she's doing some work. What we're not saying that you're paying her for the work. You're merely, what they're saying is, we are trying to put an economic value on an activity. I mean, that's about all there is to it. Nobody can or is trying to evaluate mother's love or a child-mother relationship or a husband-wife relationship. There is an activity that's going on, and that's being evaluated. Because it's woman and because it's mother and because it's wife, there's no reason to look complete, there's really no reason to get coy about it. I think one should look at this far more objectively.
Okay, but can there be a perfect formula, Ms. Iyengar? That's what everyone's asking.
No, they can't. At the most, you can have a formula for specific activities, which at one level also makes her feel good that she's contributing so much, or this is the value of what she's doing. There are many things, why only for women? There are many things that men do which do not have an economic quantifiable value. And I really don't think you should say, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can quantify certain things, and to say that there is some activity, this is the value and the economic value that the woman brings into the house. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
Very frankly, I think we talk about when you talk about a man, you always say how much is he earning, what's his pay packet, what is he bringing in terms of money. And the fact that you find when a woman says I'm a homemaker, she sort of cringes because she thinks that she's not making it, there's no economic contribution. I think this at one level adds to her sense of self-esteem.
Okay, Atit, Rajpara, obviously the Men's Rights Association has a problem with this. Can the minister, while talking about it, said that it protects the women. It protects women who maybe, have faced domestic violence. Don't you think that's a valid argument?
Look, everything cannot be related to domestic violence. Like I say, there are some things which money cannot buy, and I cannot understand this Ministry of Women and Child Development Ministry, that they all the time relate the things to the money. Means I don't understand really. Means if couple is happily married, they want to pay the husband. If couple is not happily married, they want to pay the husband. Means why only the husbands are being treated as a free ATM machines here? The thing is, if you want to define the roles and responsibility for everybody in a family, family doesn't mean only wife. Family has a father, husband, grandparents, wife, children, and a dog also. And everybody has its own individual role to play in it. So are we going into shifting into such kind of era where each body is taxing each other that I'm doing this job for you, you need to pay me this much? If we are really going into this, then every house will need a chartered accountant.
Sir, are you saying that the wife's role is to cook and clean, so she shouldn't get paid? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, repeat again. I'm not able to hear you correctly.
I'm just saying, are you saying that you said that everybody has their role? So are you saying that the wife's role is to bring up children?
Yeah, everybody has a role. If being husband, being husband, I'm paying her. I'm paying for her food. I'm paying for her vacations. I'm paying for her beauty treatment. I'm paying for her luxury. I'm paying for her insurance policies. So from where all these are coming? This is what I'm paying her. So on top of all this, you want men to be paid another 10 or 20% of their salaries. What is this? The government is first of all taking away 30% of my tax from my salary. On that, you are taking away 20%. So from rest of the 50%, where the man is going to pay the home loan, car loan and other loans, which he has taken for the family only, or taken for the wife only, from where he is going to manage that things. You are putting all the burden on a man. I don't understand really. This is really crazy. Either couple is married or not, you just want men to be a free ATM machine.
Okay, so you
don't need a card, you just walk in and take the money and get away.
You have articulated the feelings of a lot of men here very aptly over here.
It's not articulated, it is a real fact. Let me tell you one thing. In this country, every 8.5 minutes, a husband is committing suicide. Means indirectly we are generating one widow. Every 8 minutes we are generating one widow. So with this kind of law, are we going to generate more and more widows in this society? I am not talking from the men's perspective, I am talking from the woman perspective now.
Okay, Aarti Surendranath, would you like to respond to him? Aarti Surendranath.
Because men commit suicide because of the financial hardship.
Yes, I would like to.
Yes. As a wife and a mother, would you like to respond?
Yes, as a wife, a mother, a woman, if I want my opinion to be respected, I will listen to what the gentleman has to say. He has a valid point maybe about 100 years back, maybe it applied then. The first thing is that when situations like this come up and you're sitting on a panel and discussions come up for something like this, it's about reform, it's about moving forward. There are situations, to start with, a woman who stays in the house doesn't only cook, clean, sweep, swab, there's a lot more. A woman who sits in the house today with all the pressures that the man wants to pay for the loan and for everything else, for the EMIs and everything else, that is shared equally by the woman. She is making sure and ensuring that the house and the home is ready for him to be able to work properly, for children to study, for many kinds of things. And housework is never credited. It's just looked at as, you're a housewife. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. But it's a lot of work, it's a lot of management, it's the expertise of balancing books, of balancing everything. All that is okay. I don't want to take up for a housewife or what she does or how great her job is. why is a man, when he's got married and it's meant to be one family and he's in love with his wife, or not even in love, if it's his duty or whatever it is, we won't get into that, but why is there a hesitation? Why is there a problem in sharing a small part of that salary? He should be proud. He should be proud that he has a wife and he's paying her some money. After all, a woman, who is the person in a family who's the most concerned about everybody else's well-being? What is a woman going to do with the money? Maybe there's some odd woman who squanders it. But any sensible wife in a marriage that stays and survives as a marriage is going to ensure that the money he gives her is put away or spent, maybe put away. Most of the women I know would probably put it away for a rainy day or save it for something or help him out.
Okay.
But she would look after the welfare of everybody in the house. So why is there a problem?
You know, you talk about a portion, but Karuna Nundy over here has a different formula for this entire thing. Tell us.
Well, it's just something to think about, I think. You know, this isn't a new idea. It's been proposed in many different jurisdictions over the years.
You mean
it does seem to be an idea
across the world.
Across the world. In the 1920s, it was being discussed in America.
But
it is an idea that seems to have reached, you know, come to its time in India right now. There's a bill being proposed, it's being discussed. Now, how do you evaluate a woman's contribution? Economists have used the opportunity cost theory, right? Which is that if I'm a lawyer, I leave my job to be a homemaker, then my salary as a lawyer is perhaps what should be given to me. Now, this, as we can see, is quite crude and leads to, you know, various difficulties. Another theory is the replacement cost theory, which is that if you were to hire a housekeeper, a nanny, and you pay according to what that market rate is. According to what that market rate is, then you of course lose out on what a housewife actually brings to a family. The trouble is that housewives are not hired or fired in the market. So how do you evaluate it? Right. Now, there is one interesting theory that's been proposed in The Economist in America and in Santa Barbara, I think. And what he says, it's a he, is that in the marriage market, right, whether it's arranged or love, people marry others who bring equivalent contribution to the marriage. So one person may marry another because they earn well. They could marry them because they're a good homemaker. They could marry them because they raise children well, or because they protect the family. Now, regardless of how these characteristics break down across the genders, people usually marry people they see as equivalent marriage partners. So as such, 50-50. Yes, as such, I think this is, you know, the best way to divide it is 50-50, because with money comes power. Well, that sounds like really reasonable, and you're saying it's also gender specific. So even if it's a stay-at-home husband, he gets 50-50 as well. Well, I would have thought that a stay-at-home husband would need to get the 50-50. That's how it works in a lot of Indian homes, that if women who are not working, a lot of couples have joint accounts, and if what the husband earns is what the wife thinks of her salary as well. You know, I think that there are these idealized notions of the home that get put out. Here. Yes, yes, I know. I'm just coming to you, Mr. Rajpara. Yeah.
Sunita, I would like to say something here.
And Mr. Rajpara, I think Mr. Rajpara said that, you know, I have to pay the car account, I have to pay this, etc. An MIT study, and many other studies, but I'm aware of the MIT study, has shown that once women have more say over the household income, children are better nourished, children are better educated, and domestic violence goes down. We knew that, but now you're quoting statistics to say that. Ms. Iyengar, do you think that could work? Because at the moment, what they're suggesting, in fact, when we spoke to the Minister, Krishna Tirath, she said that in Indonesia, there's a 1% that husbands give to their wives, and it's supposed to also be a deterrent against adultery and things like that. But it's just a very token amount, 1%. This theory of having a 50-50, do you think that's something that the government is considering?
Look, I mean, I don't know about what it's considering, but I don't think that that's a very practical approach. I completely agree with what this idea that, you know, when a man turns around and says, I pay for you, I give you this, I am doing this, that is not the concept of a marriage. And if that has to be dealt with by making him give her a certain amount so that she doesn't have to say, you are paying for my beauty parlor, you are paying for this, then I think that's well and truly worth it. But whether it should be 50% or whether it should be, I think it is basically...
Yes, Mr. Rajpara, I'll just come to you. I'll just come to you. Let Mr. Iyengar finish. Yes.
Okay, let me rephrase this a bit. I think that what the question should be is, for what purpose are we looking at these figures? We look at it, one, from the point of view of how it helps a woman's self-esteem. We look at it from the point of view of, in a breakdown of a marriage, in the event that the marriage is not as wonderful as it's made out to be, where does the woman go? All of us know what happens in divorce settlements. Okay. And the third is that if she wants to spend money for herself, that she will choose what to do with her money, she needs to have some money for which she's not asking permission.
Okay.
Or she's not answerable.
Okay.
So I think if you identify why you want to do it and what's going to be the end result, then your thought process becomes much clearer.
Okay, Mr. Rajpara, you wanted to say, here Karuna had a good point. She said that when men and, when a man and woman enter into marriage, they decide to share, it's a partnership. So why isn't it an equal partnership? Why can't, what's the problem with splitting half your salary? If the wife is staying at home and looking after the children and taking care of the home.
It's not about the splitting of the salary. Marriage is never about the economical transactions where we are making like in banks or in business contracts. Understand one thing. The sharing is, she is taking care of home and I am taking care of the finances. I am taking care of being a protector, provider. I am taking care as a...
But you don't think that she'll feel more independent and assertive if she knows that half that salary is actually hers and not given to you? You don't feel that?
I have a question for Mr.
What is the question means?
Go ahead.
By sharing the salary, she will feel that I am loving her. Marriage is a relationship of love and affection, and since you are putting money in that, means it is like a business transaction.
Go ahead. I don't think it...
What if somebody, one of the people you represent...
Mr. Rajpara, Karuna Nundy has a question for you. Hang on. Yeah.
What if one of the people you represent decided that he wanted to stay at home, look after his children, be loving, and let his wife be the provider? How would you feel if that person then had absolutely no say over the household finances except what his wife told him to do? What if he is a really good father?
No like that.
What if he is...
never say that they are okay, I am paying for your beauty parlor whenever they are giving the money. Understand?
No, but sir, you haven't answered my question.
No, what she is asking, Mr. Rajpara, is if the husband was staying at home and he had no money apart from, and the wife was taking it, would you be okay with that? You are saying that's okay.
No, I never said that's okay. We never demanded a salary for husband, right? Did we ever ask for that?
No, that's on the table. That's on the table. The salary for husband is on the table.
If she is taking care of the finances, I need to take care of the home.
Okay, we get your point. Aarti, Surendranath, I just wanted to ask you, many people feel that even though this has the right kind of intention, many feel that this thing is a bit sexist. And what would you say to them?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
No, I'm saying that some women feel that this law, it may have good intentions, but is a bit sexist.
Yes, it is. I think it is sexist. I think it's also with an attempt to be very progressive. It is slightly regressive, but these things always get debated because through the whole discussion, a woman's work and her job is being evaluated. To start with, the evaluation is only on the basis of jhadu, katka, cleaning, making the beds, making the food, looking after the house, and so that in itself needs to be evolved. It takes a very a mature man to understand the value of his wife. You can't put a value on that. No government, no organization, no marriage. Nobody can. It's a man who needs to understand that he's married a woman, as what Mr. Rajpara said, for different reasons. It's not a business transaction. A marriage is entered by two people as a bond. They want to live together. They want to live happily and amicably together.
Okay,
so that understanding should be respected.
We're running out of time, Mr. Iyengar. Just to wrap up in a few seconds, do you think this law is coming in very soon? Because it already looks so contentious. Everyone, even women, are totally torn about this. Do you think this bill is going to go through?
I think we need to ask him if he thinks this bill should go through.
Okay, Ms. Iyengar, just to wrap up, do you think it will go through?
I don't think that I don't think it's taken a full form as yet.
Okay.
I think that the thought that women need to be the women's work needs to be economically also evaluated in addition to emotionally and socially.
Yes, so
has now started off as a thought.
So there's
but
lots of thinking to do, and the government probably has its hands full doing that. Karuna Nundy.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the Domestic Violence Act took 15 years.
Yeah, Chandra Iyengar, thanks very much. Karuna Nundy, Aarti, Surendranath, and Atit, Rajpara, thanks very much. We're completely out of time, and of course, this issue, it is going to be contentious over the next few days as the government mulls over it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.